Hello everyone, my name is Fred Jensen and today I'm going to be reviewing the Remo Legero drum set and pulse piccolo snare drum. This drum set initially released in the 1990s, retailing for $695 for the drums and hardware and an additional $105 for the case. I was able to find mine on Marketplace for only $300. According to an article written by Adam Budofsky in Modern Drummer's January 1991 issue, the Remo Legero drum set came with 5 drums, a 22 by 6 inch bass drum, a 10 by 4 inch tom, a 13 by 4 inch tom, a 16 by 5 inch floor tom, and a 14 by 3.5 Master Touch piccolo snare drum. Now these sizes aren't traditional. Most drums come in a 10, 12, and 14 configuration, but the odd sizing is due to them having to stack into each other. The set also came with single braced hardware to make it lighter, and also a snare holder that attached to the tom stand. Since I got mine secondhand, I don't have the original hardware, nor do I have the 16 inch drum, so I just use a 10 inch tom up top and the 13 inch down below. I did get the case. I did not get the Master Touch snare. Mine came with a 14 by 4 piccolo pulse snare drum. The shells of the drums are Remo's Acousticon shells, which are made out of a spiral wound wood fiber and resin mix. So imagine fiberglass except with wood fibers instead of glass fibers. This gives the shells a more focused and projected sound and are supposed to be more durable and resistant to temperature change. Forgive me for not wanting to test my drums and how durable they are. You're just gonna have to take their word for the durability on it. The only original hardware I have is the bass drum spurs, and the tube mounts have been changed out for L mounts at some point. I didn't do it, it was like that when I got the kit. Someone had also added a tom mount to the bass drum, which was probably so they could hang a tom up off of it instead of from a cymbal stand and make it even more compact. Mine instead came with a Gibraltar stand and mount, a Remo stand, and a PDP mount. Another thing I want to note is that the bass drums have T-handles for tuning, except for the bottom 2 so that they don't get in the way of the ground. And for the bass drum, I have a Evans EMAD 2 head so that it has more built-in muffling to it, and then also an EQ patch because I use wooden beaters, which are harsh on bass drum heads. For the toms, I'm using Evans EC2S's on both of them. Yes, I know that it's a Remo kit and I'm using Evans heads. Remo Schmemo, cry about it. As stated before, my kit didn't come with the Master Touch piccolo snare drum, so instead I have a 14 by 4 pulse steel piccolo snare. It works. It has a nice tight sound to it, and once I cleaned it up a bit, it works really well. I have an Evans Genera Dry on the top and then resonant head and wires on the bottom. The snare drum's able to do range pretty well. It has a nice distinct sound even when you play at a lower volume, which is nice when I'm playing on the street and don't want to be too loud because there's people 5 feet in front of me. One complaint that I have is that the tuning knob for the snare on the side on how tight the snares are comes undone as you play, and so then in between songs I have to constantly re-screw it back up so that it stays tight, which is annoying, not end of the world, but something to take note of. Now, without further ado, let's hear this thing. I still don't have any drum mics, so please bear the quality of the audio. The main reason I bought this kit was to make playing on the street easier and more convenient and just less of a hassle, and this kit definitely accomplishes that. So instead of having to lug around an entire cart full of drums, I now just have one bag with the drums, one case of hardware, and one case for cymbals. I think in terms of sound, I think it sounds good enough for what it is. The 13-inch tom, I was having some troubles getting it to sound how I would like it to be. It's not as low as I would like it to be, but that's where it's at right now, is the best I can get it to just kind of sound. For those who have either seen the Squares live or just know me, I usually have a much bigger kit, so being limited to only 4 drums, it's definitely different, and I'm not the biggest fan of the smaller setup personally. I'm sure that probably wouldn't feel as bad if I had the additional 16-inch floor tom. But as it is, it's fine for busking purposes. The bass drum I don't think was built for double bass. Even when I've been playing on the street with a drum rug, it would constantly move, and then if I did any double bass, that left slide would just be sliding forward on it for whatever reason. It seemed to be doing okay in this carpeted setting, but most of the time you're not playing in the basement of your house, so take with that what you will. Another thing I also noticed is that I tend to rest the beater on the bass drum head after I hit it. And I know that's not the most proper technique, but that's just how I've grown up playing drums. And so with this one, since it doesn't have much of a shell and no resonant head, it really just kills the sound of it. So that it's just a boom, and then it just kind of chokes it. If you want to hear the difference between no shell, a half shell, and a full shell, here you go. They're not tuned exactly the same to each other, but you get the idea. You can hear how much thinner the rototom is compared to the Acousticon, and then that compared to the full drum with another resonant head. My final thoughts is that this is a great kit for traveling players, especially those if you're playing in like a smaller restaurant or a smaller venue like that, or just going busking is where I feel this kit shines, is just in the travelability of it. In terms of sound, I definitely wouldn't want to use this for recording anything, and I probably wouldn't want to use this at any major venue. I feel like if it's like a low-key one, then it can fit that sort of vibe. But I think for anything more than that, it's not the best fit. For the price, this is a great half shell kit, and especially compared to the Tama, or especially the DW one, which are much pricier, this is a more cost-effective option. These pop up decently often for less than $400 on Guitar Center's Used, Reverb, eBay, and Facebook Marketplace. Overall, being able to take my setup from this to this has made busking so much easier and so much more convenient, and for what I got for the price, this is a really awesome setup for it. I'm Fred Jensen, thank you for watching. The set also came with geez, come on. Confidence boost.